because obviously I'm on Team Liz. I'm not here for a pitch today, I should say, but to give Rishi some credit, I feel like what he meant to say was, I've been helping change the Treasury formulas so that it helps support rural areas as well as urban areas. But the way in which it came across was absolutely terrible.
I think what he was saying was that you can't just dump all the money in the big urban areas.
Absolutely.
And there are rural areas in what are regarded as the affluent parts of the country that are deeply deserving of support. But it didn't come out like that.
I think you're right. For someone who is such a great orator and is so articulate naturally, I think the way he used the word shove, so Labour got in power, I thought that was so pejorative. Why say shove? It's almost like you're dismissing a huge amount of money that's been allocated to poverty-stricken areas in order to bring people back up on their feet. To use the word shove, what he should have said was Labour came in and naturally they prioritised areas of deprivation, and we understand that. But what I'd like to do as a Conservative, that's how he should have delivered it. Now, whether that will affect the 160,000 Conservative Tory members who are going to vote, I don't think it will. Maybe it will a few. I don't think it's going to affect the outcome. But for someone so articulate, I was really surprised about that.
Because it's always difficult when you're talking to a small group of people. I mean, maybe if there were 100 present in that garden in Tunbridge Wells, I'd be surprised, maybe only 50. You're talking to a small group you want to hear because they've all got to vote. You want them to hear what they want to hear, and then you forget about the wider world, and, of course, you never in a million years thought it would come out. But it was badly phrased.
Awful.
Absolutely awful.
And this day and age, everyone's got one of these things. Everyone's got a smartphone. Everyone's recording.
But Dehenna, whether it affects the outcome, and I don't think it will, what it will do is affect him at Parliament. When he's there at the dispatch box trying to persuade Labour about certain policies, then that will always come back to haunt him, using that pejorative way of expressing something that he could have made his point so eloquently and reasonably. But unfortunately, it's there on public record now. That's going to come back and haunt him, I think.
This is the awful thing. All this blue-on-blue stuff, a lot of commentators are saying it doesn't really matter, but, I mean, the insults and stuff that's being thrown around by all the leadership candidates, now just the two of them, is just providing the most amazing ammunition to Labour. But
we've written their leaflet for them, effectively, haven't we?
Of course. May I ask, Dehenna, you're a fan of Liz Truss. And what's persuading you to back Liz Truss?
Well, as I said, I don't want to get into it too much because obviously I'm here in a more neutral fashion today.
I understand.
For me, a lot of it's about the economic stuff. I back Liz's plan. I think we need to be bold. We need to be ambitious. I never want to see us raising taxes, so we need to be cutting taxes now, getting money into people's pockets because people are struggling. But for me, one of the things that I really love about Liz, one, she's got experience in spades. I have no hesitation that she can step into Downing Street on day one and get on with the job. She doesn't need training wheels. She can be in there chairing a NATO meeting. She can chair a meeting of Cobra. She can speak to world leaders on day one and crack on with the job. And I think given the situation the country's in, with the cost of living issues, given the situation we're in with this war in Ukraine, we need someone who can do that. But for me, she's such an ideas person. You know, she's willing to actually explore new ways of thinking, challenge orthodoxies and try something new. Economically, the orthodoxy clearly hasn't been working for Britain. We've had stagnant growth for such a long time. We've got massive issues with our productivity. So I want to see someone who's going to really try and shake that up to get Britain moving, because we're a great country, we always have been, but I think we've fallen a bit by the wayside recently and we need to get back on track.
And again, sorry to interrogate
That's all right.
this is your scope.
It is what I am here for, Danny.
And Christine used the word catty, I think, between the exchange between Kay Burley, and she said, will the real Liz Truss stand up? So who is the real Liz Truss?
Well, I think you mentioned earlier flip-flopping. If there's one thing that Liz has always been very consistent on, it's been on believing in freedom, believing in democracy, hence why she got behind Brexit, even though that's not the way that she voted, but also knowing that Britain has got so much potential, but we need to unlock those opportunities and be bold on the economy. She's been consistent on that right since she was at university, even if she wasn't a Conservative at the time. That's the real Liz Truss. And she's fun, she's good-humoured.
Is she?
Yeah, she's a great person to hang out with.
We've had a fun and good-humoured Prime Minister for a long time. I thought we were looking for a change.
But I think it's a side of Liz you don't often see on sort of telly when she's doing the debates and stuff.
And is she going to be able to... This is one of my reasons for wanting Kemi Badenoch, because I think she would have been able to make mincemeat of Keir Starmer.
You need to forget Kemi.
I do, I know. I can't
Kemi's
forget.
fantastic.
Oh, I know she's
cannot forget.
Woman.
And I hope the country won't forget it.
No,
I hope she'll be out there with a big job memo to Liz if she gets a job, please.
Whoever wins, I would assume Kemi's going to be in that cabinet.
I just think that the thought of Keir Starmer having to cope with Kemi Badenoch across the dispatch box just would have been joyful.